starts up here. There you go. Welcome back to Kamen Rider Review, episode number 120. I teased this yesterday. Well, there is a big return. I'll get to the big return. We're discussing episodes 41 to 44. We're basically seeing the end of stuff in the series. The debut of a particular monster who actually will return for another episode. And a big, humongous return. I'll get to that. Now, first of which, they had to basically have where they had to say, oh yeah, we have got to get rid of RX as soon as possible. So, Marabon sends out her last monster of the entire series, her great aunt, Hundred-Eyed Hag, and yes, this character did pop up in Masked Rider. Yep, and apparently she's the leader of the tribe that basically sent where she's from. Yeah. She's known as Odsect in that one, and is she like her counterpart? Like, is she like related? Yes. Yeah, her whole thing is that she absorbs young girls. And she absorbs Kikyo first. Then eventually they quarter Joe, Kantaro, and Rico. Like, all four of them gives them like, oh, mission's over. They capture RX. They can complete the mission. Well, no, basically, Kantaro comes to the interesting idea of having Kikyo use his telepathy to transfer power to him so he can transform. Get out of her. And eventually, you gotta find her true eye, which actually is her staff. For some reason. And then eventually the monster's destroyed. Everybody's back to normal. Everybody's walking off. And like something more happened here. And then the episode cuts to Arizona of all places. Yes, Arizona. Where we see the 10 Kamen Riders. Yes. Making their first appearance since the... Okay. Since their first appearance since the film that debuted the 10th ever Kamen Rider. Yep. ZX. It was the birth of the 10th. Kamen Riders all together. And the strange thing is, we don't see any of these people outside the suits. From what I can tell, some of them do maintain the same actor who played in the previous series. Amazon, I don't think I think they changed his again. I think I can definitely say they definitely did keep their same actors. I think from what I can tell, I think the first two definitely did. I think V3 did. Riderman definitely did. But I'm not sure about the others. Yeah. Yeah, basically training, and then of course I see next episode doing the master training. Training is wrapped by 43, and I'll get to what happens in 44. So, 42, they have it where the Emperor Christ is getting impatient, so he sends a doomsday clock. Well, not the one from Watchmen. No, not that one. It's this triangle-shaped thing that drops this red liquid. Is it blood? No, it looks like a lava lamp that if it gets full, it will explode, killing everybody on the Crisis Fortress ship. So, basically, Gather Zone, not Gate Zone, basically we actually have it where Gelderon unleashes his final monster in the entire series. The God of Randall, made from his own body, where he just absorbs energy. And it goes pretty good a long while, so I absorb energy from the Kamen Rider. And then his own comrades turned against him. Yes, because they want to sacrifice him in order to appease the Emperor. He is like as much as he apparently sacrificed himself. And then we see him back on board the Crisis ship, where he proceeds to use the energy from the ship to power his monster to battle the Kamen Rider. And eventually the monster is destroyed. And Gazaron is destroyed. Yep, first of the captains be eliminated in the whole series. Yeah, also he's also the first of the regular characters to get eliminated because basically we're getting toward the very end of the series. So the very next episode, Gate Zone basically just goes by himself. He also proceeds to unleash his final monster of the series, which is basically called Helgenum. There's actually credit for another monster he does have, but this monster does not pop in RX. Nope. It pops up in, of all things, Kamen Rider Decade. Yes. Yeah, it's kind of weird though the fact that it pops up there, but technically in this series, Helgenum is the last robot, is the last of the strange human robots seen in the entire series. Yeah, he's the last one. Now you might be thinking, was Helgenum basically adapted for Mass Rider? Yes, he was. A cyber sect. And he appeared in the episode Ferbus Maximus. So he appeared in episode 20. Yeah, that's when he shows up here. It's almost like they put him in the show too early for Mass Rider because in RX it's toward the end of the series, while in the case of Mass Rider it's like halfway through it because Mass Rider is like 40 episodes. Yeah, that's interesting. It comes to Mass Rider. It's basically about the same length as RX, but it's like 7 episodes shorter. Also, the stuff with the Kamen Riders, all their stuff is compiled into one episode, along with stuff from 44 and 45. It's like they basically took stuff from like 4 or 5 episodes and combined them to one. Yeah. So, pretty much basically, like, so Gate Zone is also because also he gets sort of defeated, but it's more so gets defeated. But yeah, I'm getting know if I get stuff in the library, so I'm probably gonna later on say. So he gets notified. He gets told by Desmer, like, oh, here's a crisis charger. We get the power up his motorcycle, make it nice and shiny gold. Very powerful motorcycle. Also, his monster can absorb smoke to block the Rabicane. Yep, you can't use it. Of course, found with the Kingston. And by the way, this also, I believe, is the episode. I think, as far as I can tell, this is the one where Joe and Rico find out about the Kingstone. Now, this is interesting because they know a lot about Kamen Rider RX. They do not know about the Kingstone. Here's the thing about the Kingstone. That if you watch the series, if you didn't get a chance to watch RX, you're probably wondering, what is up with the Kingstone? Why is it so important to RX? Because this thing was implanted to him by the cult from the previous series of the show. The only thing I don't like about this show when it comes to this particular thing is that it very rarely gets brought up. And now, apparently because it's getting toward the end of the series, we have to bring it up again. For reasons. Yep. So, by the way, there's also a subplot where gasoline causes cars to stall in episode 43. Yes, for some reason, I don't know why this had to be a B plot. It's almost like this is tacked on like very last minute. So Gatezo's will leave position as a captain. So then later on, they go to the famous core they have to have all their battles in. So, eventually, the fan back at the robot is destroyed by Kiko with her arrow. Yes, especially my arrow. Yeah, it's destroyed. And then, of course, Rampart is destroyed and Gate Zone's body, but not his head. His head is eventually destroyed by Rider by itself, and he explodes. Ending Gate Zone's involvement in this series. Yep. And you think, wow, two down, two to go for captains. Is you probably thinking it like because there's not many episodes left. Is Jar gonna be the final villain in the series? No, we'll talk about that when we get to episode 46. I'm not gonna say about 46. Let's just wait to get to that. So, 44. Baragon basically, of course, after Gateso is killed, he has Marbon. This. That's it. We declare all-out war on humanity. Yep. So they have these talks with these diplomats. One of them have to be Japanese, and they say no. So Baragon is ordered to assassinate RX. Well, the Emperor's great weapon comes to Earth. Baragon himself, he basically is out of monsters at this point. Well, yeah, he is. He is officially out of monsters. He actually used his last monster a while ago. If you're curious, when did he use his last monster? Just 4 episodes before this episode. Yep. Yeah, episode 40 was his last time he used a monster in the series. Yep, so... And watching him basically on the docks looking for RX, it reminds me a lot of the final episode of Mass Rider, because I think in this episode in particular, they must use a lot of footage for this episode. Because I saw that these buildings that appeared in the episode, they took it from this very episode, because a lot of this episode, like if anybody's ever watched Mass Rider, and if you ever watched the final episode of the series, they take a lot of stuff from this very episode, 44. You have Gatestone looking for him, and of course, well, Kiko and Joe get sort of investigate something that came down, and then we have the debut of the Emperor's new weapon. Who is it? Strategist Monster Grand Taurus. Yes. And of course, RX tries battling it later on, and doesn't work. So, then of course, Baragon, he proceeds to basically then of course, then he's intercepted from killing RX by the 10 legendary Kamen Raiders. Yeah, who come, first is number 1 who comes completely out of nowhere. Yep. And eventually all of them show up. Now, this is something I also remember from the Also Fun episode, because they actually edited this scene. Where, now here's the thing. They took out Joe, Kikyo, and Rinko because basically they're not there in the Kamen. Just Rex Stewart by himself with the Masked Warriors. And here's how they introduce the Masked Warriors. Because they poorly edited this scene. Oh, yes. Here's the thing. So, they call Kamen number 1, Masked Warrior Leader. Number 2, Unnamed Masked Rider Warrior. V3, Masked Warrior Commander. Rider Man, Unnamed Masked Rider Warrior 2. He doesn't even speak in the episode. They actually cut his line. They call X V3. They call Amazon Rider Man. They call Stronger Rider X. They call Sky Rider Amazon. This actually was a point of hilarity from what I heard when he said this. You actually have Super 1 as Strongman and ZX as Z-Cross. Yeah, so that's pretty much basically about the Masked Riders. So after they introduce himself, well, then of course basically Basugan's looking for him, so they go out. He goes out and fight him, and of course RX takes him on and beats him in dramatic fashion. In Masked Rider, he got away. He wasn't killed. He just got away. Yeah, because basically kids show, and this episode was episode 37. And of course, according to the people who watch the show, and of course the production of that show, from what I read, they consider that episode the true series finale, not episode 40. Yes, seriously. You would think a big dramatic episode like that'd be the series finale. Well, what happened though with that is that the final episode of that series, you see, episodes Masked were aired out of order. Box Kids. But back to the show. So Basugan's defeated. Grand Taurus doesn't, of course. Jark asks Jester, why did Grand Taurus help him? Basugan refused. Yeah, he refused him. So like, okay, what's gonna happen next? Well, in case you're curious though, do any of these three characters die in the next episode? From what I've read, nope. But we do see some deaths. Don't worry about that. So yeah, we have a major battle here with Victory. So, also 44, we see the penultimate appearance. Well, let's say we have a brief return here by the Circle family. Their return 46. I'll basically discuss it when we get to that point. It's a very strange way, basically, what happens in the episode, but I'll get to that. Excuse me. But these four are really good episodes. I love them. I've been eagerly waiting to get these episodes. I've waited to get this thing for months, basically, to get this far for the series. To finally get to this series and get to these last 7 episodes because I love Kamen team-ups. Yeah, unknown. Now, it is questionable of why these guys are featured in Black. According to one theory, some say they were sent to another dimension last season. It could be also because they didn't have room in their script for them. But if you're curious, what was a budget reason they couldn't have them there? Highly doubt. The show looked really good. It looked like a really good budget for the entire show. So I'm thinking, like, why couldn't they include them here? I don't know. My guess is the reason why they included it in Black RX because this is the last of the show era TV shows. And probably because also, this is my personal theory, but I think the writing team is slipping at this point. I'll talk more about that when I talk about the last 3 episodes of the series. I'll watch those next. Okay? Next video. Bye.